Greetings! It's Maxo Diddley. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can get the Emerald Grove raided while keeping Karlach as a companion and also keeping Halsin alive so he'll join you as a companion in Act 2. Let's get right into it. So you'll need Karlach in your party and you're going to want to have the Emerald Grove in a mostly unharmed state. So the tieflings are alive, the druids are alive and Khaga is alive. Zevlor does not need to be alive, and you're also going to want a character who is strong. So either build a character to have a lot of strength, or you can just chug elixirs of hill giant strength. Also, you'll need to have the goblin camp unharmed, so you can talk to Minthara and tell her about the grove. Let's get right into it. So the first step is you're going to want to enter the Emerald Grove. And I recommend entering via this elevator because it will make exiting a lot easier. The next step is you're going to want to go to the cave where Khaga is at, because we're going to be killing her. So you can get to the cave by entering through this stone door. Once inside Khaga's cave, you're going to want to go up to Khaga, right click on her and click on attack. She's not going to be happy by this, and you're going to have to defeat her and her allies in a fight. Luckily for you, most of her allies will leave the cave to go and attack the tieflings elsewhere in the grove, so you can do this at a low level if you want to. Once you've defeated Khaga, you need to now leave the cave and return to the grove. When you exit the grove, you're going to notice the druids aren't here. They're elsewhere in the grove currently fighting for tieflings, and the next step is you're going to want to steal the idol. This is so the druids can't cast the Rite of the Thorns, which will seal off the grove. We want to stop them from doing that, so we're going to steal their idol and exit the grove. We don't want to get engaged with any combat, so we can use this elevator to get out. Once we've gone up the elevator, we need to get out of the grove without engaging in combat, so we can go across this wooden bridge. Also, if you have a look, you can see fighting going on down there. Make sure you don't get involved. Once you exit the grove, you're going to need to keep walking away until there's no more red on the map. So I like to walk over to this teleport point to exit for combat. And a moment later you'll see 2 journal updates, which means so far it's working. The next step is you're going to want to separate Karlach from your party. And you're going to want to get Karlach killed. So I recommend going to your difficulty settings and making sure you're not on Explorer, because this will make killing her a lot quicker. And what I like to do, I like to make her kill herself by jumping off. The reason for doing it this way is because sometimes when you attack your companions, you'll lose approval with them, and if you're trying to romance someone or get in someone's good books, this will set you back a bit. It's also easier to do if you have your character on level 1. Once your character is down, you can now walk up to them, and if they succeed in their death saving throws, what you can do is you can right click on them and click on attack. You may have to attack them a couple of times, but when you do that, they're going to be dead. Now the next step is you want to click on them and take all of their items out of their inventory. Then you either want to get a strong character or have your character drink an elixir of hill giant strength. We can right click on Karlach and pick her up. You're going to need a strength of, I think, at least 18 to be able to pick up a dead body. And we want to keep Karlach in our inventory. The next step is we need to now go to the goblin camp. So we're going to go to the blighted village and then walk on over to the goblin camp. Also, if you're at a low level, you can change your difficulty back up to Explorer to make the upcoming fight easier. So we need to get into the goblin camp. Ideally, we want to do this peacefully, but we can kill people at the entrance and not aggro the entire camp. And then you just want to go into the goblin camp and don't pick a fight with anyone else because you don't want to aggro the entire camp. Once you get here, you can engage with the content here if you want to. However, I'm just going to skip through it all to get on with this video. Once you get inside the camp, you're going to want to go up to the door, and you're going to want to get in without violence. If you're a drow, you can use the drow dialogue options, or you can use the Illithid Wisdom. I'm going to use the Drow dialogue options because it makes it easy to get in. Once inside, you're going to want to head straight for Minthara. You can engage with the content here if you want to, just make sure to not engage the entire goblin camp with a fight. We want to send Minthara to the grove, and we can only talk to her if the camp isn't hostile. Once you get to Minthara, talk to her. Firstly, you want to say a hunt, who's the target? Then it doesn't matter what you say here, but you can say whatever you want. Then, in the next dialogue option, you're going to want to say, the place you seek is a grove, many of the inhabitants are already dead. Minthara is going to be happy, and she's going to head off to the grove to go and raid it. Now, the next step is, we're going to want to now go to Halsin and free him from his cage. We go down the stairs, then we take a left turn, and then we take another left turn, and we go across this wooden bridge, and go through the wooden door. So we're going to have to get involved in another fight, and what I recommend doing is separating your main party member from the rest of your team, and placing your other team members over here, and then taking your main character to go over to Halsin, who's currently in a cage. You're going to now want to say, what the hells are you doing? Then you want to say, leave him alone. You want to side with Halsin, so attack the goblins. Karlach will approve from beyond the grave as well, which is quite nice. And now you're going to want to kill the goblins. And this is why I recommend you separate your party so they're in a better position to kill the goblins. Once you finish the fight, Halsin's going to come up and talk to you. It doesn't matter too much what you say initially, so just say, glad I could be of help. Then you want to say, I don't know. Then Halsin's just going to talk to you about the parasites and how to get to Moonrise Towers. On this dialogue option, say, look around you, there's no order anymore, only chaos. For this dialogue option, when he asks you to get ahead to help muster up the defences, you have to say, the grove isn't my problem, I have to concentrate on saving myself. Halsin is then going to talk to you about Moonrise Towers. It doesn't matter what you say. Once you've gotten through the little conversation about Moonrise Towers and how to get there, say, I'm sorry I can't do more, thank you and good luck with the grove. After that, Halsin is going to walk off, so you're going to want to wait a moment, then make sure your party is all together again, and then you're going to want to go to the map, and then teleport to the waypoint near the Emerald Grove. After that, you're then going to want to go to camp, and when you're at camp, you're then going to want to end the day. And look, Halsin just pops up, and he's thanking you for helping the grove, and he's going to join us. After that, you're then going to want to go to bed, and do a long rest. Once you wake up, you're going to want to leave the camp. Also, you may need to chug another potion, so you can walk about while carrying Karlach's body. And now you're going to want to go into the Emerald Grove. Once in the Emerald Grove, you're going to want to head off to the back to the hollow section, and then enter the cave where Zevlor would normally be, as that's where Minthara is located. Once we enter, we can then go through the stone door and head over to Minthara. Minthara is going to be very happy. It doesn't really matter what you say here, just don't do a Loth Sworn dialogue option, otherwise you end up killing her. Open your mind to her vision, then leave, and the goblins will host you a nice little party. Will isn't happy with what we did, so he's going to leave us. However, do you notice anything? Karlach is still here, so if we talk to her, she's got all of her normal dialogue options. So we were able to get the grove raided, we can now speak to Minthara and spend the night with her if we want to, but we can also keep Karlach as a companion. Also, Halsin is here. We're able to keep Halsin alive, and he'll join us in Act 2 as a fully functional companion. So, I've done a full playthrough of the game, using this exploit. All of the companions are going to function normally. They will think the grove wasn't raided, however, the state of the world will be that the grove was raided. Heads up, once you leave the wilderness and the Underdark, so the first two sections of Act 1, to either go to Moonrise Towers or the Githyanki Creche, if you return to the Act 1 areas, Halsin will end up dead in your camp. So do all of the wilderness content, then do all of the Underdark content, then do all of the Githyanki Crash content, then go to the Shadow Curse lands, and then don't return to the Githyanki Crash or the wilderness or the Underdark. This way Halsin will not end up dead in your camp.